Hi, it's lunchtime, and hopefully, it's a good time for people to see my live because today I want to talk to you about now, the power of now. But before I get into that, I do want to say that I know I am a relationship coach. That's one of the things I do. I'm a doctor of psychology, so I coach. I'm a life coach. And life coaching includes relationships, personal development, and your life solutions. That's a life coach. It just runs the gamut of a person's life. And I believe deeply in personal development. And a part of that, in my opinion, is learning how to be in the now. So before I came on, I took some notes, and I'm a strong follower of, a big follower of Eckhart Tolle. I just read his stuff because it's also good. And the first book I really started reading that I read of his was called The Power of Now. If you haven't read that book, I suggest it. But the power of now, that's a really great thing, where we should all be, where we want to all try to be, because all we have is now. And I want to talk to you about the mind, because we live in our minds, not in our bodies. We were born, we come into this world, and we're in our bodies, and we live in our bodies. As children, we're in our bodies. We're happy, we're joyful in our bodies until we learn to go up to the mind, because the most important thing is to be in our bodies, to know we're alive, to be alive and full of joy and happiness in our bodies. But then with time, we learn how to be in our heads. And now, really now, all the kids that are getting iPads and iPhones and that stimulation, that's all electronic, and it keeps them away from themselves and puts them in the mind. And we're like one of the universal laws, we're all mind. But that doesn't mean we need to always be in our minds, because in our minds, what we do in our minds, it takes us away from our body. We want to be present. And when you're in your body, you can be present. That's why we say, or they say, who's they? The people that write these books, and also the laws. They don't say that, people say, like pray or meditate. Meditate because it's when you're quiet and not in your mind. And the thing about that is a catch-22, because when you meditate, they say you lose all thoughts. That's not true, because our minds are in perpetual motion. Our mind is never quiet. It's never still. But when we decide to not pay attention to what the mind has going on, just watch it go by like a little cloud floating in the sky, then we have control of that and we can meditate. But it just means when we're still and quiet, then we can be in our bodies, right? We can be in our bodies because we're active and we're alive. But we know that when we're quiet and in our bodies. When we have access to our bodies, when we're not doing anything. I talked about this the other day, I think yesterday, because I read something from Rachel, a guy named Trevor. He channels Rachel. And we feel guilty about not doing anything. We think we should always be doing something, but the magic happens when we're not doing anything. When we're quiet and we're listening and we're allowing the higher self give us suggestions and tips and the nudges we want to trust. That's when things can happen in a big way for us. That's when the miracles happen. But we don't know that because we're always in our mind. We think, do. But sometimes it's best not to do anything, right? We want to be in the now. When we're not in the now, we're always in the past or far in the future. But usually we remember things from the past. That's where we are. I'm looking, I have notes. We worry about tomorrow. Now, that's something that's not promised, but we worry about it. We lie in bed and worry about it for hours. People can't sleep, they worry about things. I tell you what, I'm not saying that all my life I've been in the now. Trust me. The reason why this is so important to me to impart to you is because I can remember when I lived in my mind in the past with worries. It was amazing. It totally blocks everything that's good that can happen to anyone. If you're always in the mind, because you're always worrying about what's going to happen, what you don't have, what you really want, how can it be, what they think about, what do your friends say, all that stuff. That's BS, right? When I decided and learned how to, because I spent my whole life trying to be a better person, a better human spirit, and I see the difference in me today. Those people that are really close to me can see the difference in me today. And I'm so happy that I feel different and I can share with you. I only share with you what I've experienced. So it's not me reading a book saying, oh, do this. I have experienced it. And this whole being in the now, it makes so much sense. It'll make your life so happy and so joyful and so easy. What people do is they stay up all night long worrying about things. And what we think about and what happens is, oh, you start to live in your story. You start living in the story of me. Now, I had a nonprofit, and our tagline was, the story you tell is the story you live. And those girls were girls from the foster care system. They lived in foster care or group homes. Foster care girls lived in foster care homes, as you know. People say, oh, I'll take that child and make them a part of my family. And then group home girls were the ones that couldn't fit for the foster care because they were too bad or whatever. But the reason why they had behavioral problems because of their past, what happened to them as children coming up. It's a long story, but that's what was going on. But so those girls knew the story you tell is the story you live. You got to change your story. But most people are living in the story of me, like them. They think their past is who they really are. That's not true, you guys. We are not our past. We are what we are right now. Right now, in the present moment, all we have. If you decided to live in your present moment, there are no worries. No. You might say, yes, there are, because tomorrow, nope. Tomorrow is not promised. It never has been. And yesterday is not real. You can't go back and find it. I know it might sound crazy to you, but you can't go back and find yesterday. So you did something yesterday. That happened. You manifested something, good or bad, but you can't go back there. It's only in your mind. And that's why we say, Eckhart Tolle says, I say, other people say, we know now that the mind can keep you wrapped up and locked up and keep you fearful and make your body sick, because what your mind thinks, your body believes, because those thoughts turn into feelings are vibrations, and that's what you are. So if your vibration is fear and negativity and worry, that's why you're sick. That's why you have problems, and then that's why. So we want to come out of your perceptions. Yeah, when it come out of your perceptions. That's Trevor. Hey, Trevor, I talked about you already. When it come out of your perceptions and out of your conditioned thinking, because we all have conditioned thinking, it started from the very beginning. So once you know these things, though, then you can make a change. Once you know you have conditioned thinking, once you know it's okay to not do anything, like Rachel says. Sometimes just don't do anything. It's okay, but we've all been conditioned. Me too, but now I'm just getting it. It's okay to take a nap. It's okay right in the middle of something I'm trying to create. When I get stuck and can't think about it, go somewhere. Don't do it at all. And come back with a fresh perspective, right? But so let go of that conditioned thinking. So if you're living in your mind and your past conditioning, that's not the best thing for you, for anyone. The best thing for all of us is to be in the now, because you're tortured by your thoughts. Your mind just tortures you. How so? When you worry, when you're afraid, when you you have anxiety, when you can't figure things out and it makes you upset, when you get angry. All those emotions are things that we create. I think last week I did a live post about fear. I wrote about something like, what does fear mean to you? And then I talked about it. And people gave me some great examples what fear was to them. But guess what? At bottom, with no big doctoral speech, with none of that, fear and anger, all these emotions are things that we can control, that we create. They are. And sometimes we don't want to believe it because we don't want to be responsible. But fear is what you create here. Anger is what you create here. Anxiety is what you create here. It all comes from our thoughts. And that's a fact. Check it out and then try to change it. And you can. So I'm going down here. Okay, I talked about this already. So have you? Okay, but here's the one. Years ago, not years. Yeah, years ago, I had a great relationship, and he and I were both really, really deep thinkers. And he would ask me, "Who's behind that thought?" And I go, "I don't know, right?" And we start thinking about, and then we figured out. We said, "Who's behind that thought? Behind that thought? Behind that thought?" Because how there, I realized that there are like 7 thoughts going on, different ones, and I am the conscious observer. Now, before I became a conscious observer, that means I can be in my body, and I can listen and watch all these thoughts go on, and I can participate. I don't get involved, but I can watch them, and that's a great thing to know how to do, because those thoughts, when they're negative thoughts, they're not yours. You ask yourself, where did that come from? So we are so complex, but when we start to understand these things, and something we can't really understand and grasp, but we can at least be in the now in our bodies and be conscious observers to what we're thinking about. We can change that. How we're feeling, we can change that, right? So you ask yourself, who's thinking these thoughts? Where are they coming from? Are they my thoughts? Are they thoughts of the conscious collective? Where are these thoughts? They're my unconscious thoughts? Wait a minute. Then you figure it out. You start thinking about it. And then you're not held prisoner by what you're thinking about, the negative things and your fears, and stuff that your mind can create for you. You don't have to do it. It's okay to say and shut it down. It's fine. So I've talked about this, The Power of Now, and Eckhart Tolle, because if you haven't read the book, get the book. It's a great read, and you'll learn a lot from it. And I always believe that we all should be better people. And that's our goal, my goal, to be on the planet, to be a better human spirit while I'm on the planet. And then people in relationships that I've worked with, they want to go into the relationship and have their partner fix or change something about them or make their lives happier or better or something. But guess what, you guys? That's not the deal. That's not. You create your own happiness. And then you go and you find the guy or the gal or the person, whoever, and you guys become happier together. But you got to be happy first. You got to feel secure first. You got to be okay with you first. You got to love yourself first. Because if you don't love yourself, the person that you're with that might want to love you, you won't allow them to. I know, but you don't love yourself, and they can't love you. You won't let them. It sounds crazy, but just do the mirror exercise, like I told you before. Walk by the mirror. Tell yourself you love yourself over and over and over again. Say great affirmations. You'll start loving yourself. You love yourself, and you can tell you do that by what you won't do. Loving yourself is not going to the spa or going fishing or buying new clothes or buying a new toy. Loving yourself is standing up for yourself, for that little girl, little boy inside of yourself. That's another story. But loving yourself, once you love yourself, then your partner can love you. So you can't meet someone and expect them to love you if you don't love yourself, expect them to make you happy if you aren't happy, to make you secure if you're not secure. You go in there insecure, you go in there grumpy, you go in there unhappy, you go in there afraid, and you go in there self-loathing, and you want something different, but you have to be what you want. What you want in a person, you got to be that, or at least be working on becoming that. And this is not a ramble. This is how, but you get that by being in the power, being in the now. Because one reason why you're insecure because you're thinking about the past. That doesn't count. It can ever happen again. It's over. Those days, that's done. Start fresh from right today, in the now, right? The bill money hasn't come yet. You can't think about that. You'll get it. Have faith. Ask for it. Believe it's coming, and you'll get it. Might be late, but guess what? You'll get it when it's time, because the universe is never late. So let's just be in the now. So I have written down. I have some solutions for this. How to become in the now, right? You thought about where your thoughts come from. You know how to be a conscious observer. Be a conscious observer. That means pay attention to your thoughts. Listen to them. When you're quiet and your mind has all these thoughts, what are those thoughts? Where do those thoughts come from? So here's my list. I had to reach down. Here's the list. Okay, so the solution to be in the now, and to me, you guys, this is so important for all of us as human beings. And we're older people. We're not in high school. If you are in high school, that's cool too. Get it early. If you have kids, teach your kids this now. That they're off to a running start. But here it is. Solutions is one. Step out of your conditioned thinking. Those are the thoughts that you have been conditioned to think. What your religion is, what you believe in, what this person means, what that race is about, those political things you learn. That's conditioned. What neighborhood is the best one? Whose language is the best? All those things conditioned. Who you are, how you should be, conditioned thinking. Get out of that. How do you do that? By thinking, asking yourself, is this how I really feel? How do I really feel? You come out of that thinking by asking yourself, when you're quiet, these questions. How do I really feel? What do I really believe? Who am I really? That's how you start to get out of the conditioned thinking. The second one is become the conscious observer. And that's, I said, just listen to the thoughts that are going on in your mind. Don't get involved. Don't think about them. Just watch them. I'm thinking about that. And that. And that. And that. And it's more than just one, because there are more thoughts going on in your head than you think about. Tons of them. Tons. All day long. Be a conscious observer. Be still and be quiet. Listen. Right? They say when you pray, you're asking God. When you meditate, you're listening to God or the higher self. You're listening. So just be quiet sometimes and listen. And I must admit, this week for 3 days, I haven't felt like meditating. I haven't wanted to. But I say, that's your mind, right? Right. But today, since I'm talking about this, I'm totally going to meditate after this. So hold me accountable. Okay. So sensing is not a thought. When you sense something in your body, that feeling in your body, that's not a thought. It's a feeling, and that's great because we're vibrations, we're feeling. So when you have a feeling, you go with that. Go with how you feel. And you know what? You can trust your feeling. Trust your feelings. That's our higher self talking to us. Trust it. Okay? But decipher if it's your ego sabotaging anything. To being quiet and being still, we end up learning how to differentiate which is the BS ego or our higher self talking to us in our intuition. Okay? And sensing is not a thought. It's a vibration. It's a feeling, and that's good. And when we want to go off our feelings, not our thoughts. Get out of the mind. And energy flows in the now. When you're thinking about what could go wrong, what did go wrong, how you're not great, how you're not fabulous, which you are. You're fabulous. You're great. When you think about how you're not and what's wrong with you, and there's nothing wrong with you, by the way, when we think that, then you just block your energy. You stop it all. But when you're quiet and you're in the now, start going and start becoming a person of the now, and where it's important in now, then you flow your energy. It flows. Things start to change. Trust me, I did it. I'm doing it. I'm still working on it, like everybody else should always work on it, because with each day, we're always somebody different. We have to always work on things every day, right? So energy flows in the now, not yesterday, in your thoughts, not in your thoughts about tomorrow and next week, next month. Unless there's some fun, happy thoughts about a vacation coming up, or your dog, like my dog Sydney, that I always have manifest. He pops up when I need him because he's so cute. But I'm talking about the worries and the fear, all those things. You gotta be in the now to have good energy flow. And stop making interpretations if you can. All that happens, I say, and this is mine, what I say enjoy the isness of the is. Enjoy that. Accept the isness of the is. I said that since I was a little girl. I thought that as a little girl. It's the isness. That's all. Okay? We can't change it. It's the isness. Right now in the now. In the now, if you're not in some big bad situation at the very second, your now is beautiful. Enjoy the isness of the is. And you can take that if you like it. You can copy it. I love it. So stop making interpretations about everything. Let something be. Yeah, just enjoy what it is. That's the isness. Okay? And then take delight in being alive. Just when you feel really good and you're all bubbly and happy inside, you're alive. And take delight in that. Do you? So I'm ending this with that question. Do you take delight in being alive? And do you know, without stimulation, that you're alive in this body, that you're happy in this body, that you're joyous in this body? Do you know that? Read The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle if you haven't read it already. And I'd just like to share with you things that improve my life. I think it's good for everybody, for all of us to share. We're in this great big community called Facebook. And we have so much information, so much knowledge, so much love and joy to give. Why not give it? Right? Anyway, so this is Thursday. Tomorrow I do 5 on Fridays. I finally got my computer, my laptop to do like I like. I like it to be horizontal, not vertical. And I took it to the store today, and they helped me figure it out. Yes, I love you guys and see you guys. Hey, but would you guys at least just comment that you're here today, so I can know that you watched this. I see you right now, but I don't know afterwards that you've been here. I'd appreciate that. So, have a great. I'll see you tomorrow, 10:30, 5 on Fridays. Okay, bye-bye. Have a great Thursday. And be now, be here, be now, be present. That's my gift to you, to remind you to be present. I'm going to meditate. Bye-bye.